Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series on homeopathy with our beloved Dr. Pachegaonkar. Today we're going to study the skin as an organ. Very interesting subject.
Skin is the largest organ in our system, weight wise also and the area wise also. Like almost around 1.8 square meter area it covers. And it's wonderful organ because it protects our body from all external influences, mechanical influences. And it has lot of functions. It's an organ which communicates with the exterior very efficiently, plus from defense point of view also it's very important organ. It is in three layers. The topmost layer is epidermis, dermis, and or subcutis we call it, or hypodermis. This dermis is in multiple layers of cells, and it is always replaced. Almost every 120 days, the skin is altogether different, a new
Every
skin.
20 days.
120 days, 4 months.
120
4
days.
months. But unlike snakes, we don't shed off the skin in one go. It's continuously, the upper layer is being shed off, and the inner layer becomes mature and comes to surface. So every 120 days it's altogether a new skin. And the thickness also varies. On an average it is less than 2 thickness, but the grit, the strength, everything varies depending upon the location. And imagine barring the openings like nostrils or mouth or eyes or anus. Barring these openings, everywhere body is covered by the skin. And it itself, epidermis is definitely multiple layers, and it has a melanin pigmentation, which again gives pigmentation to the skin, but then it has a protective function against the ultraviolet rays. That's why we see where the harsh the skin, sun, the skin becomes dark. And the sensors of this are in the eyes. The ultraviolet rays, when our eyes, the sensors measure it, the amplitude or the intensity of ultraviolet rays, then the melanin pigmentation is stimulated in the skin. So this epidermis has pigmentation and it's a layers of skin, but it is the first defense offered to external threat or antigen. This epidermis is full of friendly organisms, what we call Staphylococcus epidermidis. These organisms, they are friendly organisms and multiple. Can you imagine, on one human body skin, we might have little more than 1.5 trillion friendly organisms. And these friendly organisms help us. They are like we are host for them, but at the same time they help us in protecting our own system. So these friendly organisms, they secrete the substance which bars entry of other microbial invaders. So it helps us in our defense, and that therefore we say skin is that way a very delicate organ. And some people, they apply lots of soap and all, like antifungal and antibacterial soaps are available nowadays, what we call so-called sanitizers, like, and they spoil even the friendly organisms, and then really for skin to survive goes very difficult in absence of these friendly organisms. So with this help of friendly organisms, our body is protected by this skin epidermis.
What kind of soap should one use on the skin?
See, best would be just it should be cleaned, because what happens, the hard soap, what we call, which removes the oil. See, our skin needs moisturizer. A little bit of oil secretion is must, otherwise the dry skin causes lot of irritation. And therefore using hard soap also is not good. Best is to use soft soap, and ideally soap should be used only when you feel that your hands are contaminated with something which will not be good. So
Not
there,
on the whole
not
body.
on the whole body.
Oh.
At the most, there are some flexures like groin
Yeah.
or armpit,
Yeah.
where it's enclosed, it is not properly ventilated when you are not in action.
Yes. Yes.
So maybe some sort of a fungal and all growth can take place, so there you can apply. Otherwise, soap is not at all a good concept for healthy skin. It's not necessary. Rather, the best would be just sit in water, immersed in water, and that itself will clear all the pores in your skin. Everything will be with diffusion itself. And I have seen these Jain Munis, Digambar Jain Munis, they, as a routine, they are not supposed to decorate their body and all, and taking bath and all, they feel it is against nature. They are not taking bath for the whole life. At the most, they dip themselves in flowing water, either river or sea water. That's all. And they never take proper bath, conventional
Jains.
bath.
Jains.
Jain, there is one sect called Digambar Jain who don't wear the clothes. The whole life they are not supposed to wear clothes. They are just naked as nature keeps them, and they never take bath. But I have seen, as a doctor, as a curious student, medical student, I just used to wonder like how their skin is, and the skin is wonderful. They don't wear clothes, they are not protected, they don't take bath, and in spite of their skin doesn't emit any bad smell. So skin actually has to be maintained well. It's a wonderful organ, and skin has multiple functions also. Like skin has sweat glands, where the sweating is modulated, monitored, and when you sweat, you cool yourself. So heat regulation is done by skin by sweating. And not only that, some sort of material can be excreted through sweat. So along with cooling or heat regulation, the sweat glands, and they are well monitored. Again, there are what we call sebaceous glands in the skin, especially the mid layer, dermis. These glands also release oil or moisturizer, natural moisturizer. So in normal course, you don't need to use moisturizer unless you intervene with hard soap and all to remove natural moisturizer. You don't require any artificial moisturizer. Body has mechanism, feedback mechanism. Then body has hair on the skin, majority parts hair on the skin, especially scalp and all, and that gives natural protection to yourself on the head, so that the scorching sun doesn't bother you. And not only that, heat conservation also is achieved. Then nails also have wonderful function, because they are at the tips of the fingers, all the toes and fingers, and that because of the nail, that part is protected, well protected. So these are, and subcutaneous tissue also has sort of a fat accumulated in the lowermost part of the skin, innermost part of the skin, and that gives us what we call a smoothing, like a lubrication type. So skin is a wonderful organ, and it is very rich in nerve supply, especially the tips of finger. The skin can sense the coolness, temperature outside, and immediately reacts. So blood supply is enhanced, vasodilatation occurs, vasoconstriction occurs to conserve the heat. So even heat modulation is achieved by the skin by reacting to the external environment. So even heat regulation is undertaken by skin, and even touch sensation, like blind people, they just do with that script. So especially the fingertips are very rich in network of cutaneous nerves. So they can sense the heat, they can sense the touch, the pain, pleasure, both. I have seen some people who have like, mm, in a witty manner, they describe their itching. They say that the itching is so pleasant that really, while scratching it, I feel I'm just pampered, and it's a very pleasant sensation. So pain, pleasure, all these sensations are felt by skin. And even suppose mother is massaging the child, it's very much soothing. So it transfers the feelings and energy, and the very good communication skin can have. Plus, the skin is beautiful waterproof, covering for the body. You just sit in water, the water by itself won't enter the body, it will just keep body moist. But our body fluid will not be increased or added to it. It's a wonderful waterproof. Unless body needs, it won't be allowed to permeate in the body. So it's a, just sit in water for hours together, and this skin will be 100% waterproof cover for your body. So it has its own elasticity also, it has its own cushion, there is wonderful lubrication, the heat regulation, the cutaneous nerves are in communication with, and every bit of communication is communicated to the central system by the skin. So this skin is something, and funniest part, the skin has a different luster and composition depending upon its location. Like our lips have the most delicate skin, whereas palms and soles have very tough hard skin, and it can withstand lot of trauma if it is there. And not only that, skin is a that way very very strong organ, it doesn't give away easily unless there is a sharp cut or something. And and it is well supported by the central system, it is all governed like how should be. And there was a demonstration, that fine network of pins, if very close network of pins are there, you can just sit on that. That pins are there, you sit and nothing pierces inside. So skin is such a wonderful organ that in three layers, it gives you wonderful protection, wonderful conservation of energy, and no unwanted antigen is allowed through skin. Let it be even poison or anything, nothing. Even if it is rubbed against skin, it doesn't get absorbed in the body
Oh,
unless
really?
it is needed.
Even poison.
Even poison, even snake poison. There are people who, if they ingest snake poison, it won't affect the body unless it reaches bloodstream. Because skin and mucosa, they are like epithelial linings which are well monitored, well governed, and well structured organs. So it's a wonderful thing, but there are issues with the skin, because if it is extra dry skin, then there get cracks, cracking is there, the scaling is there.
Itching.
Itching is something which is again very funny, it can be protective or it can be even pathological. Itching is a response by the body, where there is some sort of antigen oriented, and sometimes what we call allergic phenomena, where body overreacts to the external stimulation. It gives you pruritus, that itching sensation. And definitely, of course, the genesis of itching would be altogether different in different instances. But any sort of antigen there, it will cause a tickling or itching sensation where the defense is roused, and sometimes it can be hyperimmune response, or sometimes it will be moderate immune response where things will be resolved. So even ant is crawling on your body, the body with the experience will gain the knowledge that it is ant which is harmful or what it is, and definitely your body reflexly reacts to it and disposes of the thing phenomena. But there are many diseases which reflect on the body, but it is not skin disease alone, it is the reflection of the internal malady on the external surface.
Ah,
And we have seen that body has a wonderful mechanism that if there is an antigen which can't be resolved by the body, which can't be eliminated from the body quarantines it. The disease is quarantined on a periphery on skin. So many times the skin lesions are reflecting or the reflection of internal malady. Like we have seen, for example, hair virulence in female. Like female, if gets hair on the upper lip or mustaches or on the chin, that's a sign where there is a hormonal imbalance. The feminine hormones are lacking and masculine hormones are more, like testosterone and all. So there we can suspect that the girl has a polycystic ovarian phenomena disease. So by just looking at the upper lip and hair growth, we can suspect that the girl has a polycystic ovarian disease. So there are many disorders on skin which are reflection of internal malady. And very simple example would be like icterus, the yellow discoloration. That can be the reflection of liver disorder where the serum bilirubin is raised. So similarly, even we have seen that eczema or even psoriasis. These
what about vitiligo?
Yes, vitiligo is again a symptom which can have a genesis because of different reasons. So it can be like endocrine imbalance, it can be like hypothyroidism, or it can be the gonadotropins getting haywire or not in balance. So this pigmentation, melanin pigmentation defect occurs, and there would be depigmentation. And that vitiligo, it can be sign of liver malfunction or hormonal imbalance or hypothyroid function, like that. Even growth hormones. So definitely vitiligo can't be the local disease. It is definitely something internal which is reflected on the body. And somehow this melanin pigmentation is something which is centrally monitored. It is not locally monitored by the skin. We have seen some dermatologists like who have battery vision, they try to even have skin grafting where the vitiligo patch, they said anyway it is not growing, it is just static. They tried to have a healthy skin grafted on that, and that also did not help. The same skin which is taken from the same body from
Ah,
elsewhere also starts showing depigmentation.
interesting.
So that has never been successful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Very enlightening. Thank you, sir.